What is going on, guys? Welcome back to Rassslin Rantin. This is a different kind of video we're going to do here. We're going to be talking about finances. I may be doing this a lot more often because one of my many hobbies is being really into finance and economics, and especially the last couple of years because it pays for a lot of my vacations sometimes. But the cool thing about it is that you can also do it too. I know a lot of people out there, when you hear about finances and the stock market and bonds and stuff, their heads start spinning and they think it's only something for rich people, yada, yada, yada. But it's not, but we'll get to that later on. There's affiliate links down below if you guys have any interest in that. The purpose of this video, however, is also to talk about WWE and on the back of the news that came out, which is something very interesting that happened today. The news that came out, as you all know, NBC Universal, USA Network wants WWE to get more edgy. They got a little bit edgier at the TLC pay-per-view with Randy Orton setting Bray Wyatt on fire. Are we going to see more of that coming up on Monday Night Raw and SmackDown? Only time will tell. But there's one thing that I see a lot of people out there, a lot of the wrestling fans, who, by the way, it's an amazing the amount of wrestling fans who act like they're they know business and all this other stuff. They always talk all this business speak and everything like they really know what they're talking about. You're not MBAs. I'm not an MBA, but I am into finances and I can read. So, and a lot of stuff that I see people saying about the business aspects of WWE just don't make any sense because they haven't read the corporate reports. Part of being in the finances is you read a lot of corporate reports and a lot of earnings reports. I read a lot of WWE's earnings reports, and they're in the last quarter of the year, so it's going to be interesting to see what winds up happening this year, this quarter, given 2020 has been such a crappy year. But because of all of that stuff, because WWE is a publicly traded company, because it has investors, I got some free stocks from WWE years ago that I think have grown 190% or whatever, that I barely ever touch. But because there are investors out there who have WWE stock, and some people have a lot of money invested in WWE. WWE is also a stock that pays dividends. If you don't know what a dividend stock is, I can explain it at some other point in time. But basically it means that they have WWE's quarterly, so they have income, a check that they get from WWE every 3 months that they're kind of relying on as part of their income. So when you have that much tens and hundreds of millions of dollars invested by other people into your company, you can't just go and do a complete 180 and go, well, Vince is not going to come out and go, we're going to do a whole new thing. They're going to strike down all the LED screens and sets. It's going to go right back to the old red, black, and steel Raw is War set. They're going to be doing ass and titties and bra and panties matches, and everybody's going to be bleeding all over the place and cursing all over the place, and they're going to throw Michael Cole off the roof or whatever. You know, they're not going to switch on a dime and do that. The ship is too big. There's too much money involved and too many people invested in the company for them to turn the ship that way. They can't do it. So what you'll probably likely see is small incremental changes if they are going to be going in that more edgy direction. It'll probably be a big thing here and a big thing there and a big thing here and a big thing there, but the general structure of the show is probably not going to change too much. That's what you should expect. Anybody who's expecting them to like tonight, or because I'm recording this before Monday Night Raw or on SmackDown on Friday or the next pay-per-view at the Royal Rumble, that they're going to just do a 180 and go back to the Attitude Era or the Ruthless Aggression Era, not going to happen. Not going to happen at all. Now, the funny thing about that is they could do that back in the day before they were a publicly traded company. That's why we had all those eras before. And you notice, ever since they've been a publicly traded company, they haven't changed eras that much. You know, we had the Ruthless Aggression PG era, and then the PG era, and then there really hasn't been any new eras since then. It's been pretty much the same thing. And again, that's because as a publicly traded company, you can't just snap your fingers and just change everything up. One thing that's interesting, though, since we are talking about finances, and this is a YouTube channel, one thing that's very interesting, since I'm into finances, is that a lot of people who talk about WWE money don't actually own any WWE stock. And today it's so easy to buy stocks because if you don't know, for those of you who aren't familiar, you literally could buy WWE stock for $1. Like there's apps that allow you to do that. And I always thought it was funny every time because they always send me the voting the email that there's the vote coming up for the board of directors and everything else. And you actually, as a stockholder, do get to vote on that. You can fill out the form and send it in. I was always curious, is like, what if like a million fans who were fed up with WWE spent $1 a piece and bought stock, and then they all voted, trying to vote Vince McMahon out? Now, it wouldn't work that way because Vince owns majority share of stocks. He'll always own the majority share of stocks, so you're never going to vote him out anyway. But I always thought that would be funny if you had a bunch of people voting, trying to vote him out by buying $1 of WWE stock. Now, somebody I know said, I talked about this with somebody the other week. They're like, you can't do stocks. I had to show them. So I told them I put this in a video. So I am doing this for you. I'm helping this out. I am going to be doing a financial channel on YouTube pretty soon. But for you guys out there, let's put our money where our mouth is. And what we're going to do here is we are going to I'm going to show you one way in which you can, if you don't want to buy the stock, how you can actually get stocks on there. So we're going to look here at one of our apps that we have, and this is going to be WeBull. Now, WeBull, the cool thing about WeBull is what they do is they allow you to do this thing called paper trading. So you can do a paper trade, which isn't you actually buying the stock. It simulates if you had bought the stock, and then you can see how it works. So you'll just go in here and you can search for WWE, type in WWE, click on it, you'll see the price, it gives you the index. Now, one of the cool things you can see here, of course, as with most of these brokerage firms, you can see over time how WWE stock has grown and has shrunk. And you see that in the past 5 days, in the past week, it's kind of gone on this up and down trend. It probably is a good time to buy WWE stock. But again, I already own WWE stock, so I really don't need to do this, but I'm going to show you guys how easy this thing is. So you can do the paper trade, and we're not going to do a limit. We're going to do a market order here just to keep it simple, just to show you guys what it is. And then you can place an order, and then that your order has been sent out, and it will have your order, and you're buying WWE stock, and you will own it in your portfolio. Another app that is used also is Robinhood. And Robinhood is where you can buy it for like $1. So if I go into one of my, let me see, I'm gonna go into my small Robinhood app. So if I go into my small Robinhood app, you can search for WWE, and then you click on this, and then there's WWE, and you can buy WWE. You can choose to click on the buy, and if you have the option of doing buy in dollars or buy in shares. If you want to do fractional shares, you buy in dollars. You can type in 1, hit review, and I'm not going to do this again because I already own it, but you could literally buy $1 of WWE stock. You'll still get the dividend. It might be like 0.0, it might be a penny that you get, but you still get the dividend, and you still get the increase if you own that dollar if the stock goes up, whatever the percentage is, because it's based off of the percentage of the stock that you own. So somebody wanted me to talk about that, so I am going to talk about it. I do like talking about finances. I don't know how it translates with wrestling audience people, but if you guys want me to talk about finance again and get more into depth with this, we were thinking about doing kind of setting up a WWE, setting up an app of a fake profile that buys Bushiroad, WWE, and Sinclair Broadcasting, which owns Ring of Honor, and just seeing how the stocks compare over time. But that's all stuff that we could do in the future. Now remember, I am not a financial advisor. I am not your financial advisor. You should always do your own research before doing any kind of financial investing. But I am saying, in case you already did your due diligence or whatever, and you do want to get one of these new apps that basically allow you to do stock trades without having a paper trade, you can use some of the links I have down below. I've got one for Robinhood. You get 1 free stock from Robinhood. You get 2 free stocks from WeBull. And if you fund your WeBull account with $100, you get 2 more free stocks. You may be saying, Rassslin Rantin, what do you get out of it? Well, if you guys sign up through those affiliate links, then I get a free stock as well. So that's how it is. And even if you don't want to keep the stock, you can always just get the stocks and sell them, and it's an extra $5 or $6 in your pocket, however you want to do it. Or you could be really petty and buy $1 of WWE stock in Robinhood just so you can vote against Vince McMahon on the seaboard. I'm not suggesting that you do that, but it is something that you could do if you wanted to be really petty like that. But that's all I wanted to talk about today, the financials of WWE. The fact that a lot of the investors right now are looking at it and saying that it might be a good investment, and this is all because of the changes that are coming up. In 2021, people are expecting WWE to rise to the occasion. Unfortunately, because they pay out those dividends, it wound up with a whole bunch of wrestlers getting fired earlier this year. but that is the unfortunate thing about the way WWE operates. But I want to know what you guys think about this. Do you think WWE is about to have a surge in its stock? Do you think that the investment is going to be worth it? Do you think that 2021 is going to be a better year for them and their corporate stock price? I want to know what you guys think. Let your voice be heard in the comment box below. I will see you guys for more news, rumors, and commentary here on Rassslin with Finance, or Rassslin and Money. Rassslin Rantin here on webchannel24.com. Have a good day.